I'm Dr. Anthony Lazowitz, and this is Climate Connections. Fly fishing guide Hillary Hutchison grew up fishing and rafting in northern Montana, in the cold mountain rivers and streams near Glacier National Park.
It's this wonderful place full of a lot of great water.
But as the climate warms, shrinking glaciers and declining snowpack are reducing the flow of meltwater into those rivers and streams. About 50 years ago, there were 35 named glaciers in the national park. When Hutchison started her career in the 90s, about 30 glaciers remained.
And now the USGS is saying about 24. So significant change over the time that I've been guiding, and kind of a weird thing to be able to watch and see happen in front of your own eyes.
With fewer glaciers providing meltwater, rivers and streams are getting shallower and warmer. Hutchison says that could threaten fish habitat and hurt the state's multi-billion-dollar outdoor recreation industry. So to help protect western rivers, Hutchison has testified to Congress about the changes she's seeing. And she works to raise awareness among her clients and the public about how human-caused warming is transforming the region that she grew up in and that so many love. Climate Connections is produced by the Yale Center for Environmental Communication. To hear more stories like this, visit climateconnections.org.
Insight Daily Radio.
From food to fashion, science to tech talk, or for just plain fun, we've got you covered. From the art of all things, here's Lasana Jeffries.
Perhaps no dog was bred for a more specific purpose than the now extinct turnspit. The turnspit was so named because it was literally bred just to run for hours on a tiny wheel that turned a spit. Prior to the introduction of turnspits around the 16th century, the tedious and unrelenting job of turning the spit was left to the lowest ranking member of the household. The job was tough and cruel. Then, in the 16th century, spitjacks were phased out in favor of a small machine powered by an even smaller dog. As dogs could work longer hours without a break and they didn't need to be paid in anything other than food, turnspits were generally seen as kitchen tools. To train them to run at the correct speed, a hot coal was thrown into the dog's wheel every time it slowed down too much. During their off time, turnspits were foot warmers. Turnspits were ultimately replaced by steam-powered machines, and yet by the end of the 19th century, they were declared extinct. But for a few centuries, the turnspit could be found in almost every large home in England, including the homes of royalty. Nobody anywhere bothered to note down exactly what breeding process went into creating the dog. All we have to go on are historical descriptions of the breed, which described it as long-bodied, crooked-legged, and ugly. And we also have a single stuffed specimen called Whiskey. The cruelty to the turnspit is what inspired Henry Bergh to start the ASPCA, American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, which has resulted in countless animals being saved.
And we almost managed to do that correctly, folks. Welcome to the Nosey Liberal. We're live. We're here. You can leave a comment in the comment section. We will post the comment up. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, isn't it, folks? Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? Yes, it is. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We'll be checking comments. Hello. I hope you're having a good day. Silas, as how do I interact in your time and your show in real time? I can't figure this crap out. Silas, you just did. You posted, and look, here is your interact with real time linky do. Now you're interacting with the show in real time, my friend. And Jim says morning. So there's that. So good morning, Jim, and welcome to the show. Morning. So we're gonna also have a call in line, but we have guests today. Robyn Kincaid from Head On Radio at 10:30 is going to join us. Morning, um, uh, Jim, and we're going to talk a lot about different things today and stuff in the news and stuff, everything. We're going to talk about everything. It's going to be one of those shows. I'm in a weird mood. I'm in a little bit I'm in a little bit of a weird mood, but there's a war on. I think at this point you get a pass if you're in a little bit of a weird mood because there's a war on. So I think that's just the way it is. But a reminder, there's a war on. Zelensky is going to speak, and oh my god, Zelensky is going to speak, and here we have the Senate passing this bill. Like, I get it. I do. Nobody likes daylight savings time and all for what it's worth. I don't like it either. I'm annoyed by it. But that's not the right story. Let's get the right story up. No more switching clocks. Senate passes act to make daylight savings time permanent. This is what we're doing? Europe is like on a war footing. Things are crumbling with infrastructure. This is what we're doing? Yay? Am I supposed to be happy about this? Somebody smarter than me, please explain to me how I'm supposed to be feeling about this, because I do not know how I'm supposed to be feeling about this. I literally am perturbed when it comes to this. Like, am I supposed to be excited that daylight savings time is going to be permanent? It still has to pass the House. Jim says glad they're addressing the real issues. Yes, they're just addressing the real issues, Jim. The things that matter to the American people, like voter issues, gun law reform. They're doing the work of the American people, and Christian Cinema was so happy. I saw the video last night on TikTok, and she was yes. She was waiting for this moment. Passes, yes. She's so happy and so proud of herself. This is what you wake up for in the morning? No more switching clocks. Yippee-ki! That's going to fuck up a lot of computers. They're not going to... The computers aren't going to know. Talk about Y2K. Anybody think of that? Just saying. Somebody, Microsoft and Apple are going to have to come up with an update because this shit is going to get real. Somebody's going to be late. Somebody's going to be early. Somebody's going to not know what time it is. but let's focus on this, right? Let's focus on this. Not Zelensky is speaking now. So if you come back to the show and you watch him, he's going to talk to Congress. That's fine. That if I could hook it up and put the live stream in, I'd stream it, but I think I'd break the computer if I did that. I have so many things running, I think I'd break the computer. So we're not streaming Zelensky. Sorry. That's just not gonna happen. But you can catch him and we'll report if he says anything newsworthy. It's like I don't know what he can I don't know what he can say to appease Putin. Like, what can he say to make Putin happy? We're going to do everything you want us to do. What can Zelensky say? It's kind of like the Senate. What can the Senate do? Absolutely nothing. So what do they do? What in pray tell do they do? They come up with, we're going to throw you a bone. Congress literally is throwing us a bone to make daylight savings time permanent. The bipartisan bill named Sunshine Protection Act. Get a load of this shit. The Sunshine Protection Act. Your tax dollars hard at work, folks. When they come together, they really come together. Your tax dollars are just kicking around, doing exactly what they're meant to do. You know, free trade bills, getting a supply chain ready for the next century. Can't have any of that. But the Sunshine Protection Act. Oh, mama, here we go. Americans no longer have to change their clocks twice a year. First world problems, anyone? I mean, seriously. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck here, folks? We got things going on, supply chain issues, and everybody's so happy about it. Like I missed the boat on this. I feel like I missed out. Everybody's just, oh, daylight savings time now, crushing it. Really? The Sunshine Protection Act? Really? Franklin's named the Sunshine Protection Act. Are you kidding me? It still needs approval in the House. I hope Cawthorn doesn't get the memo and passes some outrageous amendments towards it. Like the protect the rightiest right-wing Christian that you can, the Christian baker, the candlestick maker. Protect all them. I hope they find a way, the House finds a way to fuck this up. They won't, though, because this is simple. This is not even leadership. This is no more switching clocks, more daylight hours to spend outside after school and after work, and more smiles. That is what we get with permanent daylight savings time, said Senator Ed Markey, the original co-sponsor of the legislation. No more teachers reading books. No more. It's like that Pink Floyd song. No more school. School's out. I don't know the song very well. I shouldn't sing. Bad Tom. This is not that morning show. Zelensky is speaking to Congress today. This is what Congress is doing? Congress is doing this? Are you fucking shitting me? And by the way, my phone in the background is going to go off. I forgot to shut it down. So, my apologies. I will turn it off in the next break when we have it. But see, that's what breaks are for, when I do stupid shit like that. But I'm telling you now. This is why we're fucked. The Sunshine Protection Act, not the Trans Kids Protection Act. The Congress can't get behind the Trans Kids Protection Act, but the Sunshine Protection Act we can get behind. The Trans Kids Protection Act is a step too far. The Transgender Protection Act. Wouldn't that be something in Congress? If we're going to talk legislation that is social, puffy, kind of matters to some people, doesn't matter to others, but might make a difference. This daylight, am I off here? Am I missing something? Am I too angry and bitter and cynical? Or am I spot on? I think I'm spot on with this. I think we got too many problems going around. And Congress is worried about switching clocks. Changing the clocks twice a year is outdated and unnecessary. Well, Republicans are outdated and unnecessary, but we still put up with you, Rick Scott. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Americans want more sunshine and less depression. People in this country, all the way from Seattle to Miami, want the Sunshine Protection Act. Really, Patty Murray? That's what they want? I think the people across America want a living wage, gun control, environmental protection, the Paris Climate Accords, and maybe throw in the Trans Kids Protection Act too. And by the way, nearly a dozen states already have standardized the daylight savings time. The Senate is just catching up. I shit you not. And in the third hour, I'll look up some of what Zelensky said from The Guardian and the right-wing sites so we could see how pissed off they are and how defensive of Putin they're going to get. So you won't be uninformed. But I thought this was important to cover because everybody is so happy. Right? Everybody, Congress is striven for the best. This is the best we have. Right? This is it. The Sunshine Protection Act. Not the Protect Women Act. Or Protect Gays Act. Or Protect Wildlife Act. Or Protect Supply Chain Act. Or Protect the IRS Act. Yeah, I know. I said a dirty word. Protect the IRS. That doesn't have the zing for Kirsten Cinema to get all kitschy in it. That doesn't have that necessary, oh my God. Oh my God. Let's have a little fun here. The Sunshine Protection Act. They know how to name things in Congress, if nothing else. Members of Congress have long been interested in the potential benefits and costs of daylight savings time since it was first adopted as a wartime measure in 1942. The proposal will now go to the House, where the Energy and Commerce Committee had a hearing to discuss the possible They've had hearings on this, dude. Literally an act of Congress. I shit you not. Where's the Protect Trans Kids Act? Where's that? When can we have that? That would be important to me. That would be something that matters to me. Where's that? Oh, we can't do that? No, we're not doing that today? Come on, man. Where are the important things that Congress, like, I thought people went to Congress to do important work, not to do this bullshit. And here we have this bullshit. We'll be right back. Am I wrong? Am I too open? Let me know. Hashtag FYI.
I'm Dr. Anthony Lizowitz, and this is Climate Connections. Fly fishing guide Hillary Hutchison grew up fishing and rafting in northern Montana, in the cold mountain rivers and streams near Glacier National Park.
It's this wonderful place full of a lot of great water.
But as the climate warms, shrinking glaciers and declining snowpack are reducing the flow of meltwater into those rivers and streams. About 50 years ago, there were 35 named glaciers in the national park. When Hutchison started her career in the 90s, about 30 glaciers remained.
And now the USGS is saying about 24. So significant change over the time that I've been guiding, and kind of a weird thing to be able to watch and see happen in front of your own eyes.
With fewer glaciers providing meltwater, rivers and streams are getting shallower and warmer. Hutchison says that could threaten fish habitat and hurt the state's multi-billion-dollar outdoor recreation industry. So to help protect western rivers, Hutchison has testified to Congress about the changes she's seeing. And she works to raise awareness among her clients and the public about how human-caused warming is transforming the region that she grew up in and that so many love. Climate Connections is produced by the Yale Center for Environmental Communication. To hear more stories like this, visit climateconnections.org.
FYI Nation can now be heard on your favorite Android or Apple phone. Simply go to FYINation.com and scan the QR code at the bottom of the page to download the app. FYINation.com radio player app is commercial free thanks to your Patreon contributions at FYINation.com. If you have a smart device, you can also listen to FYINation.com as a skill on your Alexa or Google Home smart devices. FYI Nation now has more ways than ever to listen to shows like mine, the Thom Hartmann Program, commercial free every day.
Hey, ho, ho. Welcome to the Nosey Liberal. We are live. We are here. Zelensky is saying stuff to Congress. We can't carry the live stream because that would break the computer, I think. So we're not going to try. I know we used to be able to do that, but technology kind of is not trustworthy to be able to do that, and I don't want to give you guys an issue. And plus, we can in the third hour come back to it and see what he has to say, and go from there. There is other news. I don't think we're gonna look. I want to say we're gonna get something major from it, like something important is gonna happen, but let's be honest. Excuse me. Let's be honest. I don't think anything that is going to change the course of history is going to happen with the Zelensky speaking. I'd like to be wrong. Like I would love to be wrong in that assessment, but I don't think I am. I don't think we're going to get this big change of thought, or this big change of happenstance when it comes to Zelensky and him speaking to Congress. It's not going to change Tucker Carlson's mind all of a sudden because his mind is made up, right? So what I almost great that he's doing it, but I don't. Somebody has to explain the point to me. To get the word out, we already know. We know we know that we're kind of in a damning situation, and we're in a ridiculous situation with what we're doing and dealing with. So I don't understand. Um, it, it's like, okay, good, get the word out. Now what? Where do we go from here? Is where I'm at. Um, and we'll go from from there, and so I love getting good news. I love getting good news. Oh, we're working on getting woke talk radio uh on a, a network, a nationwide network, and it might actually happen. It might happen. That would be great. So there's that. I love. Have you heard the good news? Talk about things that work. Sometimes people just pull one out of their ass for you, and it's just an amazing thing when they do. And I love my liberal friends. Um, they're a lot smarter than the QAnon people. That's for sure. Um, so um, this story, we're gonna fly through the music is gonna come on because it's automatic, but we're gonna fly through the break because I really want to discuss this story with you, um, and really give it its proper propping uh up. Maybe not the right word, but I want to give it its due, and I think it's important that we um discuss the effects of the conspiracy theory with Dr. Fauci, Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump cast as the savior. I was reading this last night, and oh my God, these people, you cannot work with these people. They are so batshit crazy. They are just crazy. Now, if we do get on this network, that means I got to cut down on the swearing. So that's the thing. Um, but I've been trying to cut down on my swearing anyway. Um, just because I've been trying to do a little bit better. For everybody. But you can tweet us at hashtag FYI Live. You can comment in the comment section. I just posted this story in the uh, comment section, so you know what we're doing and where we're going next. And it's an amazing story. And I have, just so you understand, if you're watching on the YouTubes, I have my middle computer in the middle that controls everything. And then I have my two screens that I look at everything on the right and on the left of me. So if I'm looking a certain way, I'm looking to control or do something with the screens. Um, and that's how the sausage is made, so they say. So Anthony Fauci is the villain in this story because you need a villain, and you need a bad guy. Um, he is the key player alongside Hillary Clinton, and they're working together in concert to destroy the economy and undermine Trump's reelection. So Hillary Clinton, this mistress of the night, this dark overlord being that we all have to be afraid of is working with Dr. Fauci, the evil doctor. Gotta say it like you're gonna take a poo. You gotta mean it. Worked to destroy the economy and undermine Trump. And the music didn't pop up. That's weird. The pop-up popped up, but the music didn't. So we're gonna skip through it anyway. It's almost 9:30, folks, on the East Coast. Don't forget that daylight savings time. You don't have to worry about that no more. Ain't that a thrill? So, sorry, my nose is a little runny thanks to my medication. They're working to undermine and destroy the economy under Trump's presidency. And I'm sure China, the Communist Party, is involved. Xi Jinping is cheerleading right along with them. Ho, ho, ho. Let's get it together. Let's go after them, folks. So there's that. Fauci, not China, made the virus. And apparently he was arrested. Are you keeping track? In the plot. And he met up with Barack Obama and Melinda Gates in a lab in Wuhan. See, I knew China was involved. Like I predicted it. I skimmed through the story to get the finer points. But oh my God, these people are crazy. TikTok, something's wrong with these people. In Wuhan. And George Soros, of course, is involved. And so is Jeffrey Epstein. Even though he's dead. Because George Soros and Jeffrey Epstein invested in Moderna. Jim says, imagine how bored you must be in your life to need conspiracy theories to spice it up. I think it's thrilling though, Jim. Come on, man. Don't you see the connection? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton conspiring in Wuhan with Melinda Gates to go and undermine Donald Trump? Don't you see the fucking realism here? I'd say you can't make this shit up, but they did. They literally they pull it out of their ass and they see what sticks. And then like if it's not sticking in the right narrative they want, they switch it around and they make it stick even harder and even gooier. Jim says George Soros is stopping me from doing the dishes. Well, Jim, I will tell you this much. I am still mad that I have not gotten my George Soros check. I was told I would get a check. I have not seen it. I am apparently not on the payroll, and I am really angry about that. Because I work for the gay agenda. I work for the trans agenda. I work for BLM. I work for Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton. I am mad. I have not gotten where is my check? It's past due. 90 days past due. The cold today must be Dr. Fauci's fault. Yes. The cold. They all want to know on the right wing. The real part is it bleeds into the right wing, and this is why it's important. They want to know where Dr. Fauci went. They couldn't stand it when he was on every TV screen telling you how to deal with certain things like Fauci. They couldn't stand it on the right when Dr. Fauci was actually on the TV screen doing the Lord's work. Now that he's off the TV screen, where's Fauci? Is Fauci in Acapulco? Like Ted Cruz now? Is he on a trip? Is he on a vacation? Where is he, man? Where is he? What's he doing? Why isn't he around? Where's the Fauci dude? With it, I mean, is it not bad that we might have a fourth Fauci ouchie? I still have to take my third, but that's besides the point. I really hate the whole idea, but I have to do it. Got to get my Fauci ouchie. And then we have, oh my God. Russian President Vladimir Putin, assisted by Trump, is really trying to destroy labs where the US and Ukraine are developing lethal bioweapons. Now Trump is the hero in this. Because Trump knows that the labs are there, and Donald Trump is trying to do in their fever dream everything he can to stop the bioweapons. He's been warning us in code. Like when he stepped on that toilet paper and walked up the stairs, that was actually a warning, folks. That was warning you to wash your hands after you take a shit. That was a warning. I'm kidding. But I'm a little riled up here because, one, to believe this shit, and two, to like take it seriously as these people do. Me and the Talking Points memo, where this story is from, take it seriously for like different reasons. And the reason we take it seriously is because, oh my God, these people are armed in a lot of cases. You know? Jim says, right, the stable genius is playing 5-dimensional chess. Love it, Jim. Keep it coming. Oh my God. So the Kremlin itself recently suggested the bird flu to tag on to and they feel validated by these conspiracy theories. And then you wonder how these people believe in the prosperity Jesus gospel. You wonder how we get there. By the way, the difference between Democratic people and these people, since we're still talking about it, and I will continue to point out the difference is we don't believe in this bullshit. Like, if we're going to talk about a real apocalypse, we're going to talk about nuclear war or the global climate change as a real apocalypse. We're not going to buy into bullshit. That's the difference between the right and the left. The left doesn't buy into crap. They actually believe in science, not sci-fi. It's fiction for a reason. Christ. I mean, as much as I love Star Trek, I know there is not no Mr. Spock out there coming to get me and help me out in my endeavors. By the way, leave a comment in the comment section and drop it in the Facebook feed or the YouTube feed, and ploop, it'll be on the screen, just like we did with Jim's. So that's the way you can communicate with us. Hashtag FYI Live, as always, is the way to communicate with us. We will have open lines on Friday. Fridays are our open lines day. the rest of the month we have interviews. Robyn Kincaid will be with us today. You don't want to miss that at 10:30. So there is that. Jim said, but there is a Q. Yes, and he is ageless. God, I love John Delancey. And I love the new Picard. Oh my God. I could do a whole show just on how much I was stunned that Picard got slapped. Spoiler alert, by Q. It's in all the trailers, so you know it happened. But like, whoa, oh my God. You slapped Picard? We're going into some heavy territory here. Unlike the batshit crazy of the... See, I could tie it together. The batshit crazy of the QAnon is just mindless bullshit. That, by the way, wouldn't even hold up in a Star Trek story. Like the narrative they're spinning and the fallacy they're spinning would not even hold up in a Star Trek story. It just... It wouldn't. And yet we have here them trying to sell this. And oh, that's the mouse. I was like, what's it? I had this little thing on my Twin Towers picture. And I was like, did my Twin Towers picture get damaged somehow? And then I realized it's the mouse because I had the mouse over the picture. Hello. Wake up, Tom. It's the morning time. So the Robyn Kincaid, the amazing, wonderful, generous, beautiful Robyn Kincaid will be with us later at 10:30. I know this because we talked last night and I made an ass out of myself, as I do. And I'm not doing this to beat myself up, just for clarification's sake. I when I'm tired, all my bad traits come flying out, and every single possible last one of my bad traits came flying out last night in my discussion with Robyn Kincaid. And by bad traits, I don't mean like Jeffrey Epstein pedophile thing. I mean my bad traits like, oh my God, I cannot tell the importance of time. I cannot like distinguish how other people's shit matters. I get into a me only kind of like the QAnon people. I get into a me only type of personality when I'm really tired because I can only think past into what I need because I'm so exhausted, and that's how exhausted. And no excuse for it, by the way. No excuse. I'm just saying, I know it's something I have to work on, and that's why I try not to get so exhausted as I did last night, and try to be mindful of it when I'm getting to that point, because I don't want to upset anybody that I care about. I have, as I've gotten older and wiser, become more mindful and perhaps overzealous of things that I do wrong. And I talked about this in therapy, my actual therapy, yesterday. I'm working on catching myself before I say something. Like unnecessary things. Because part of the reason that my marriage broke up was I was an asshole, and two, I would say and do unnecessary things that were totally ill-fitting and bad form, and it was a constant problem of just not thinking before I spoke or doing. And a lot of the help, I will admit, has been the therapy and the medication I'm now on. I'm not afraid to say that. It's personal growth. I wish these QAnon people would have some personal growth. They need personal growth. Like they need desperately to get out in the sunshine now that we have the Sunshine Protection Act to keep us all from the harm of changing your fucking clock around. We need to be able to now deal with right-wing wackos who believe this bunk. And like what I don't get, and somebody has to explain this to me, who's smarter than maybe Robyn can explain this to me, and I'll ask her. I think this is a good question for Robyn because she lives in the South and she sees Southerners all the time. And I don't think this is just a Southern thing. I think this is a stupid people thing. But Donald Trump, like, what I don't understand is Donald Trump. He when I think superhero, I think of Michael Keaton, or I think of Val Kilmer, or I think of Christopher Reeve. I think of William Shatner. I think of and I'm trying to think of a woman superhero, but I can't. Hillary Clinton, woman superhero. I know some of you just cringed when I said that. Sorry. Not sorry. But I think of people like that. I do like hell. I'd even go so far as Ivanka Trump would make a better superhero in this narrative than Donald J. Trump. What, my God in heaven, makes Donald J. Trump a superhero in these people's minds? Like, Ronald Reagan I could get. I mean, he had a je ne sais quoi about him. Right? Like, Ronald Reagan was someone you could escape to a desert island with and feel safe with. I get that. Right? I get the whole Ronald Reagan mystique, brainwashing, he's our hero. But Donald J. Trump, the Orange Man? I mean, really? I don't like to pick on looks as much anymore because I think I'm beyond that. But really? Donald J. Trump? Oh, Jim says they think he might say the N-word at any moment, just like them. Yes, their hero. He doesn't leap tall buildings. He slings the N-word around. My God. Talking Points memo points out that even for QAnon conspiracy theory, this one is weak. It exists in the same universe where COVID-19 was also designed as a bioweapon lab in a U.S.-funded lab in China, where all ambiguously termed biolabs are developing weapons. This month, why it's important is why we said the QAnon conspiracy theory has bled into InfoWars and Steve Bannon and Fox News, so-called reputable places for right-wingers. Not for us, but for right-wingers. That's why this story is so important. This is important because QAnon and the disease they carry is a plague upon us. Now, you could have a break. So, we're not going to take a break. So, that's our 47-minute after the hour break. I turned off my phone. I've done all the things necessary for not having a break. So, we're not going to have a break. I take breaks when they're necessary. This is a plague on our house, on our body politic. It, like, I've got to suggest this again to Tara because she doesn't, like, she follows the Reddit forums and everything prolifically, but not the way I want to be Tara Devlin's right-winger correspondent for Tara Buster. I want to dumpster dive into the cesspool that is the right wing and help Tara shed light on whatever I dig up. Like this Talking Points memo article. I just did a little tippity-tappity on the internet and found it. There it is. My hands are really big. I have big hands. Does that mean I have a big... Maybe. I don't kiss and tell. And I don't have to brag either like some people. You know, now that I am in a relationship, I don't talk about my relationship like how don't get any of it on you in the cesspool. Yeah, right. Wear gloves. When I was single, I was very open about my love life and lack thereof and my promiscuity and everything because I could be single and out in the open with that. But now that I'm in a relationship and the relationship has matured not only me but matured in my life, I find that I find that I want to be, and I got a message. Uh, hold on one second. Oh no, after at noon. People need to chill out. People really need to just chill out when chillax. Back to the relationship. You mature, you grow, you change how you're gonna talk about things. And so, like, I'm not as open as I used to be when I was single because I don't feel like I should discuss my personal life because it's private now. It's not just about me. So now I've had to, unlike these people, these right wingers, I've had to grow up and be like, okay, here we are. This is the situation, and talk about other stuff and go from there. And that's what you do when you grow up, right? you learn stuff, but these people on the right haven't learned anything. This stuff bleeds into Fox News and Judge Janine Pirro. Where's Fauci? Why did he disappear? I'd love to ask him if he knows anything about that. Give it a rest, for goodness sake, Corrado said. No, I don't want to, Pirro said. It's time for him to face some questions. What questions? You're not a judge anymore, dude. Your other words, but you're not a judge. The Biden administration is also involved into running the weapons developments in QAnon's telling of this. I mean, yuck. They just like there's no there, but they make it up. Like, and then it gets on Tucker Carlson. And this is why it's important. It goes and bleeds into things that have millions of people watching. We do not have millions of people watching. We have about 40 people watching, which I'm grateful for and listening. I want that number to grow. That's why I do this. But Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, they have millions of people watching and they're irresponsible. Imagine if I was such an irresponsible host. I don't think I would have an audience. I swear to God, I want my audience to attack me if I ever bleed to the left or to the right with talking points or anything of this sort. Like, if I ever get to a point where I am Beto O'Rourkeing a talking point, I want you to come after me. I want you to tell me a thing or two. It's imperative. It matters. So you can tweet me, hashtag FYI Live. You can leave a comment in the comment section. I will pop it up like I have John, Jim, Jacob. What's the difference, right? Jim's messages in the YouTube. I will pop it up and you can check it out and go from there. Facebook, same thing. We now have that capability where we can put in the messages. We're talking about QAnon and the batshit crazy, and why it's so important to keep an eye on, because they take. You got nothing to talk about. Let's bring it out. They take out of context something someone says. So Ukraine has biological research facilities, which in fact we are quite concerned Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of the Russian forces should they approach. This was disclosure to Tucker Carlson and the right wing and QAnon to say, look, we were right. They do. Tulsi Gabbard, they do. Jim says they make stuff up to reinforce their base instincts. And then when they haven't made stuff up, they cherry pick something that is totally out of bounds and say, we were right, and have a conniption. Her concern about Russian forces seeking control of the facilities, Greenwald and Carlson point is proof positive that lab harbor weapons and materials to make them. These are Glenn. I remember Glenn Greenwald as being somebody that I was supposed to look up to because of his journalism ethics. Now he's a right-wing con man. What happened to Glenn Greenwald? Somebody should write a book. The Evolution of Glenn Greenwald. That's a good book for you. Because there's a distinct evolution there. And it's not good. But they had, because she admitted it in Congress. There it is. We'll be back.
I'm Rick Smith, and this is Labor History in 2. On this day in labor history, the year was 1911. That was the day Big Bill Haywood of the Industrial Workers of the World gave his speech on the general strike. He presented it in New York City at a fundraiser for the Bucafori Defense Fund. Vincent Bucafori was a shop representative for his union. He faced repeated harassment and discharge by his foreman for executing his union duties. Finally, as witnesses described, the foreman fired Bucafori and punched him, drawing blood. Then he came at Bucafori with a heavy object. Bucafori shot and killed him in self-defense. He was charged with manslaughter, convicted, and sentenced to 10 years at Sing Sing prison. The IWW raised money for his defense and fought for his acquittal and release. Haywood arrived at the fundraiser to deliver the keynote speech titled The General Strike. In it, he reviewed the rich history of workers' actions since the days of the Paris Commune in 1871. He also raged against electoral reform. He stated, quote, "The broadest interpretation of political power comes through the industrial organization. It gives the vote to women. It re-enfranchises the black man and places the ballot in the hands of every boy and girl employed in a shop. Makes them eligible to take part in the general strike, makes them eligible to legislate for themselves where they are most interested in changing conditions, namely in the place where they work." He continued, quote, "You have all the industries in your hands at the present time. There is justification for political action, and that is to control the forces of the capitalists that they use against us. That is the reason that you should fully understand the power of the ballot." Labor History in 2 brought to you by the Illinois Labor History Society and The Rick Smith Show. For more information, go to laborhistoryin2.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us at Labor History in 2.
Insight Daily Radio.
It's Tuesday, March 15, 2022.
The adverse health effects alone from power plant related pollution are valued at $80 billion per year.
Biden EPA unveils new rules to clean up deadly smog and truck pollution.
Australia is becoming a harder country to live in because of these natural disasters.
Australia pummeled by weeks of torrential rains and deadly floods. Plus,
the energy firm saw fourth quarter profits hit their highest in 8 years.
Consumers pay at the pump while big oil pulls in big bucks.
All of that profiteering and more straight ahead from BradBlog.com. I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
Stand by for 6 minutes of independent green news, politics, analysis, and snarky comment.
President Biden has hosted electric vehicle stakeholders here at the White House. Would he host oil and gas producers, the people who are the most affected by the Putin price hike.
By the most affected, you mean the ones who are making the most money? Peter Ducey of Fox News, you imbecile. This is your Green News Report. Okay, Tessie Doyen, the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues to roil the energy markets.
Yes, indeed it does. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has underscored how nations remain extraordinarily dependent on fossil fuels, even as they try to shore up supplies. At the same time, scientists are warning the world must slash fossil fuel use to avoid catastrophic climate impacts. Bloomberg News on Monday reported that China plans a massive increase in coal mining to dramatically reduce its reliance on fossil fuel imports.
Great plan.
That will undercut China's climate policies in the near term. The Russian invasion has also laid bare the strategic vulnerability of fossil fuel dependence that can be wielded both as an energy weapon and an economic weapon. Officials report the Russian military has seized major gas infrastructure in eastern Ukraine, cutting off supplies to nearly 1 million people amid below freezing temperatures. Officials also say that late last week, Russian troops seized 2 compressor stations along a major gas pipeline from Russia to Europe that crosses Ukraine, a tacit warning that they can cut off all Russian gas imports to Europe.
The petro wars continue, and I guess they're going to continue until we get off this addiction.
The price of crude oil fell below $100 on global markets Monday after not quite reaching all-time highs that were set back in 2008. The surge in crude oil prices triggered instant price hikes for consumers at the pump over the last 2 weeks. But despite the drop in crude oil prices, it will likely take weeks for gas prices to fall for consumers.
That's a pretty good scam. So the price of oil futures goes up, so does the price at the pump. The price of futures comes down. Well, we'll see about lowering it. Maybe sometime next month.
Exactly.
Wow.
But oil industry profit margins in 2021 and the first quarter of 2022 have hit their highest levels in 8 years.
Sure they have.
Senate Democrats have introduced legislation to enact a windfall profit tax, alleging the oil industry is profiteering off of Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Alleging?
But that won't stop oil industry CEOs from cashing in. According to a new analysis by nonprofit groups Friends of the Earth and Bailout Watch, over just the last month, as Russia moved to invade Ukraine, big oil CEOs sold millions of dollars worth of shares, pulling in a combined profit of nearly $99 million. And over the last year, the CEOs of the 5 biggest oil companies together personally gained $8 billion in wealth.
Nice corrupt work if you can get it.
A national emergency in Australia.
There is no flood event that has occurred in this part of Australia like this in anyone's living or recorded memory.
Conservative Prime Minister Scott Morrison declared a national emergency after more than 2 weeks of climate change intensified record rainfall inundated vast areas from Brisbane to Sydney. The floods are being called one of Australia's worst ever disasters and have killed at least 22 people, rendered thousands of homes uninhabitable, and caused billions of dollars in damages. Numerous studies show intense precipitation events are becoming more common with man-made global warming. Finally, some good news. Noting that air pollution doesn't stay within state lines, the Biden Environmental Protection Agency unveiled new standards to cut nitrogen oxide, a pollutant released by power and chemical plants and other industries, and a key ingredient of ozone-related smog. The new rule targets pollutants that drift across state lines. By 2026, EPA projects that every dollar invested in meeting the new rule will return $9 in public benefits. As EPA Chief Michael Regan explained at an energy conference last week, clearing the air literally saves lives.
Every year, pollution from power plants causes 8,000 fine particle and ozone-related premature deaths, tens of thousands of new asthma cases, thousands of heart attacks, and millions of lost school and work days.
The Biden EPA also announced new tailpipe rules for heavy trucks, the biggest polluters on the road, for the first time in decades.
Tyranny. For much more on all of these stories and the ones we couldn't get to today, check out our website at greennews.bradblog.com. I'm Brad Friedman.
And I'm Desi Doyen.
And this has been your Green News Report.
Hey, ho, ho. Welcome back to the show, The Nosey Liberal. My name is Tom Reynolds. You are listening to it. In this hour, we will have the great, the amazing, the talented Robyn Kincaid with us. She's one of my heroes. And I can't wait to have her on, and we're going to ask her some questions. We're going to promote her show, which is on FYINation.com every day at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Eastern till 8 p.m. Her show is live. By the way, I should mention, we now have live programming and new programming all day long. The only show that doesn't qualify as new is our 3 a.m. show of the Democracy Now! Replay. So we replay Democracy Now! At 3 a.m. for those who might have missed it. But every show, and we replay Arnie Arneson for those who might have missed it at 4 o'clock. But every show is a fresh, hot off the press, that day. You're not going to get a rerun. You're not going to get it's live. We're doing it live on this network. We do it with love on this network. FY Nation, this FYNation.com produces things out of love and kindness and dare I say righteousness. Because we have the way that we want to do it, and it's not a fever pitch dream. So we will produce in the way we want to do it. And we're PG-13 here. You know, we don't do anything that isn't unheard of. But there's that. So let's see. I'm trying to make sure I have everything set up right for you guys, because technology is hard. But you can go in and check us out on the Twitter machine, hashtag FYI Live, and to see the story we're covering right now. I've spent almost an hour on this story because it's so important. You're not going to hear this on the mainstream news or the right-wing news. They're not going to debunk their own conspiracy theories. They're going to prop it up. So the right is propping up propaganda from Russia, and he is like literally, Tucker Carlson is literally telling you what he's doing. When it turns out the people who represent us and run our government are lying to us and never apologize for it and doing horrific things in our names, then you have to open your mind a little bit and at least assess what other people are saying. Tucker Carlson is right. You have to open your mind a little bit and assess what other people are saying. When it matters, right? You have to do it when it matters. You can't do it when it's willy-nilly conspiracy theory bunk that doesn't exist. You have to do it when it matters. And Tucker Carlson wants to be one of the people who represents us. He's fighting for you, right? He'd never lie to you. He gets all these ratings and all these people watching his show, and never an Emmy for news broadcasts, by the way, because it's not news, it's bunk. Show me that Emmy you got for news broadcasting, Carlson. I'll wait. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And that's the sad reality of the situation that we're in. And that's why this is so important, because QAnon bullshit, InfoWars bullshit, Breitbart bullshit the Blaze bullshit bleeds into the broader right-wing sphere narrative and finds its way on matriculating to Fox News. And Fox News is the granddaddy of them all. The big Papa Bear of bunk and bull. So it's important for us to know where the narrative is coming from and to destroy the narrative. Because it seems like the Democratic Party is too interested in the Sunshine Protection Act. So we got to do their work for them. Somebody has to do it. That's what the show does. The show destroys narratives. The show attacks narratives. The show does stories that I'm interested in and that I could talk about for over an hour. And make you interested in the story. See how this works? You can go to other shows, smarter hosts, and get news and information. You can do that by all means. You could go to Stephanie Miller if you like. But I am going to bring all sides to the table. And I'm going to highlight what is wrong for you. And I am not going to ever, and I can promise you this, be a part of the establishment. Jim says in the chat, important point, we ended up with a whole generation of zero media literacy. Exactly. They don't want critical thinking taught in schools. No wonder they don't want critical race theory taught in schools. And you need critical thinking to talk about critical race theory. They want low information, lightweight folks, so the so-called heavyweights can have their grift. See, the thing about this network and the thing about us is there's no grift to be had. I'm not even, like, we are asking for donations to the Patreon account at FYNation.com. If you would like to donate, we need $40 a day. I'm not pushing it hard because I believe, like other people, need it more than I do. I need people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I need people to get the word out about what we do on YouTube and the clips and expose that to people. That's what I need. I need an army of minions to go out there and promote FYNation.com. It's been 5 years. I'm no longer sitting on my hands with this, treating it as a hobby. I told that to Tara Devlin when I was on her show a few months back. The message that we have to get out for liberals and progressives to win elections is way more important to me than money. It's and not for nothing. It's way more important to me than getting fans and a fan base and anything like that too. I'm not interested in like a fan base either. I want you to know. So there's that. So let's go to, we spent a lot of time on that. Let's go to something that is going to bleed in and already has started to in the mainstream media about the Trump cult that was on Breitbart. And is important to also discuss what the Trump cult is going to do to Joe Biden. The difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, for those who might not know the difference between the two, the Democratic Party. So there's that. That actually worked. When Robyn comes on, we might have a break in between, but we're going to talk up until that point about this story and the difference between the right-wing crazies and us is they go to the same playbook all the time. And they investigate, trying to find that blue stained dress like it was the 90s. That's what they're doing. They're trying to find the blue stained dress as if it was the 90s. This is from Breitbart. This is important. The reason we cover stories from Breitbart and the Blaze and other outlets is to highlight the coming narrative. All right? We are highlighting the coming narrative, whether it be the QAnon conspiracy or something a little bit more mainstream, like Daryl Issa saying a legion of GOP watchdogs will hold this president accountable. Jesus. They're out to get Joe Biden and destroy anything he can do. They're trying desperately to make him a one-term president because they're pathetic. But Daryl Issa, representative of California, was chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Government and Reform during Barack Obama's scandal-ridden administration. What scandals? Any scandals? No arrests. Never an arrest in the Obama administration. No scandals. But Issa told Breitbart News exclusively that Republicans are prepping because they're preppers. They like to prep. They sell the storable food buckets on their preaching prosperity shows and all that. They like to prep things. They are going to hold Notice how there's nothing about leadership or leading or legislation. They're going to hold Joe Biden accountable. They're not going to pass any legislation. They're gonna hold Joe Biden accountable. They're gonna go get Joe. They're gonna help Donald Trump win. Translation. Issa, whose high-profile battles included the IRS targeting scandal and Fast and Furious. No arrests. No arrests on Obama. See, this is the difference between the Republicans and the Democratic Party. The Republicans find a needle in a haystack to investigate, and they'll go as if they're McCarthy and make shit up as they go along. Jim Jordan is also in on this. We're going to have 60 plus new Republicans take this majority, and many of them have only watched on C-SPAN, Issa said. You've got to believe that Congress, other duties pale in comparison to being a watchdog. Being a watchdog. No, do your other duties and pass policy. That too much for you? Issa noted that Republicans are currently prepping laying the groundwork for the coming subpoenas that will begin in earnest next year when the GOP, assuming Republicans win the House back, retake the committee gavels in the House and possibly the U.S. Senate. All hearings all the time, baby. That's real leadership. That's real leadership. James Cornier, House Oversight Committee, and Jim Banks, the chairman of the Republican Study Committee, have been laying the groundwork for subpoenas already. They're not even in power. This is the difference, man. This is the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Republican Party is not even in power. They're not planning to give you legislation. They're planning to give you prosecution. Burn the witch. Get the witch. We gotta go after Joe Biden. Joe Biden's the enemy. I wonder how many times that the Republicans get this, what they want, investigations, how many times we will find articles saying Hunter Biden crack pipe. Hunter Biden crack pipe. Because the media is not going to call out the faux watchdog deceitfulness of what this is. The media is going to go along with it, and they're going to make money off of it, and they're going to get Trump supporters like Laura Trump on the air, and McDaniels on the air, and they're all going to be like, well, the Biden administration, man, they're just using their executive authority. They're just doing it wrong. The difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and in 2022, I have to bring this up. The Republican Party are a bunch of little warmongers. They got to wage war on the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is appeasers. And the Democrats have to appease everybody. And the time for appeasement is over. You know how to stop the investigations before they even happen? You know how to stop the investigations? You get out and vote Democratic. You get your friends to vote Democratic. You find the best candidate, you pick them, and you go for them, and you keep the House, you keep the Senate, and maybe we get rid of Joe Manchin. That's a fever dream of mine. But you do everything possible to, oh my God, make it so these investigations won't happen. You do not give the Republican Party the keys to the kingdom because you're mad because you didn't get Medicare for all. I'm talking to my progressive friends right now, my progressive allies. You do not give the Republican Party the keys to the kingdom because you didn't get Medicare for all. You do not give them 24/7 investigate. They got to fill a news cycle, man. And they got to show that they're doing something because it's not policy. I do not see any wave of onslaught policies that we can fight against. What did the Republicans stand for? Hating on trans kids? Where's the policy? There's no policy there. So we're left with investigation after investigation after investigation. And they warned us before in Breitbart. They said, we're coming to the courts. And what did they do? They're going after our pick for Supreme Court justice. They tell us this stuff man. They telegraph it. So don't act surprised when it happens. Robyn Kincaid coming up with a big
From food to fashion, science to tech talk, or for just plain fun, we've got you covered. From the art of all things, here's Lasana Jeffries.
Tom Anderson, better known online as MySpace Tom, was, for a brief period in the early 2000s, arguably the most popular man on the internet, boasting over 200 million friends at the apex of MySpace's popularity. Tom was everybody who signed up to use the site's first, but hopefully not only friend. So what is he doing now? For those who missed out on that era, despite Facebook being founded in 2004, from about 2005 to 2008, MySpace was indeed on top, including for a brief time in 2006, even becoming the most visited site on the internet, edging out Google for that honor. And amazingly, in 2008, MySpace generated nearly $1 billion in revenue, valued at some $12 billion at that point. Although users were free to immediately unfriend Tom if they felt like it, most didn't, making him, for a brief window in the 2000s, one of the most recognized people online. It isn't clear how much Tom made from selling his stake in MySpace, with conflicting amounts everywhere from a few million to a few hundred million. Whatever the case, his salary after the News Corp acquisition, a $30 million 2-year contract after Tom walked away from the site, he hasn't had to worry about money. Following his quasi-retirement, Tom spent a lot of time learning about architectural design. When he left the work world, he started designing his dream house. The plan was to build one house, move in, and build the next, and so on and so forth. In total, he designed and built 3 homes. But now Tom spends most of his time doing travel photography, taking incredible photos for Instagram. Thanks for listening. I'm Lasana Jeffries.
Inside Daily Radio.
Welcome to the show. This is Nosey Liberal. I am just waiting for the amazing Robyn Kincaid to appear. We're going to talk with her. But the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party investigations. If you like your investigations and you like them piping hot, give the Republican Party the ability to continue to rule and continue to be in power. You will get plenty and plenty of investigations. They will investigate the hell out of you. It's just, it's that way. I don't know how else to describe it. So there's that. And it's frustrating as fuck. But it is what it is. So we deal with it. Just waiting on Robyn. I'm hoping she's using an iPad, and I've never used an iPad, and I didn't test with her. I'm wishing I had for technical difficulties, so I'm hoping there are none. I'm just waiting on her to come on and pop on, being 10:30, and just my nerves are up because I can't control it. So we're a little nervous, but hopefully she will be here. She has the link to log in, and hopefully everything technology-wise will cooperate with Robyn, and we can talk to her about her show, her political activism, her trans activism, lots and lots of stuff that I can talk to Robyn Kincaid about and spend some time with her on FYNation.com, and hopefully it works out. And if she is a little late, she's a little late. That's just how the cookie crumbles. We'll just make it happen. So we're just waiting on her, and hopefully that will happen any minute now. In the meantime, It's not like I don't want to go to another story, but I've kind of played this one out, as you do. But the Breitbart story that we've been talking about, basically investigate, find things that are wrong that are not wrong. And I bet you now, I can tell you now with certainty, with A-level certainty, nobody will be arrested in the Biden administration. They'll try. They will try, but nobody will be arrested in the Biden administration. I can guarantee that. In fact, I will guarantee that. I will guarantee, and mark this date, 3/16, the day before St. Patrick's Day. Nobody will be arrested and charged with any crime on St. Patrick's Day. Oh, not on St. Patrick's Day, any day for that matter, any day with the Republicans. I need to adjust myself because my back is hurting. So there's that. Gotta love that. Gotta love the body when it causes issues. So how are you? I'm gonna check the interwebs while we wait on Robyn and see if there is anything pending for our friend Zelensky because he spoke. I'm gonna check the updates of the Hill and see. I love going to the Hill because they have a lot of stuff that is in important. So the Hill is reporting that Zelensky got a standing ovation in Congress, and Zelensky, right now, the destiny of our country is being decided. The destiny of our people, whether Ukrainians will be free, whether they will be able to preserve democracy. Zelensky said in an impassioned virtual address to Congress, saying that Russia has lost an assault on not only Ukrainian cities, but Ukrainian values and freedom. Russia has turned Ukrainian sky into a source of death for thousands of people. He urged Biden to be a leader of peace. I am addressing President Biden. You are the leader of your nation. I wish you to be the leader of the world. Being the leader of the world means to be the leader of peace. So there's that. That's what he said in his speech. Zelensky expressed gratitude to the steps the U.S. has taken thus far, but made clear his belief is more is needed to do to punish Russia. I have a dream, the Ukrainian president said, invoking Martin Luther King. Today I can say I have a need. I need to protect our skies. Peace is more important than income, and we have to defend this principle in the whole world. So there's that. Important stuff, world-changing stuff, but nothing surprising. It is what it is. Nothing surprising, unfortunately. So I'm waiting on Robyn Kincaid to get here. I don't have her cell. I only have Facebook. I'm going to message her. Is everything okay? I'm just checking in to see that everything is all right, and hopefully we could get a response and find out what's going on with her. But the Zelensky thing, I mean, it was like, okay, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad he did a speech. He invoked 9/11. Stirring speech. He's a good communicator. He's probably better than Biden at communicating his message, which is something in a time of crisis a country needs. So there's that, and I just got a message from Robyn. See what's going on here. Can't find the link. Okay, that would explain why. Let's see. There we go. Here we are. And Robyn had issues with the link, so hopefully she'll be on momentarily. And but we'll do it live. We're doing it live, folks. Waiting on Robyn Kincaid, the amazing host with the most of Head On Radio. And we're just waiting for her to get here, and then we'll start. And maybe she'll be with us a little longer, like Ron Placone was. But we won't push it today. Let's see. Like the I like Zelensky. I think he's more than a hunk. I think he's an important leader for our time. I just think, unfortunately, there is not a lot that we can pin our hopes or our hat on with him dealing with the Russians, because I think the Russians are going to run rimshot over him, and it sucks. Okay, blank screen. I'll use Skype. Use Skype. We'll do audio. Okay, I'm telling Robyn to use Skype. She's having some technical difficulties because she can't get the screen to work. So we're gonna do this a little differently, folks. I am going to log into Skype and just bear with me here. See, this is technology when it doesn't cooperate. FY Nation. I should have tested last night. I didn't. Now I'm regretting not testing. And password, and you regret certain things you do and the way you do them, but this is why you have a backup plan, and this is why we're fixing things. I'm gonna let her know to use Skype, if you'll just bear with me. Oh, you're in StreamYard. Okay, great. Blank screen. That's weird. Let's see. This link. This link. This link. This link. I'm trying to sort this issue out with Robyn as we do it live, so just bear with me. I apologize, trying to do a number of things. I log onto Skype so we can try that too. Okay, it says you're backstage, so why isn't she pulled up? That's so weird. Let's see. Stop sharing the camera. Invite. That's something is happening with the Skype private chat. Like, she has been invited, and I can't link her in. This is so weird. Does not show you stage like you. Let's see. Let me see if I can do this on the other computer. I appreciate everybody's patience with me as we try and sort this out. It's really frustrating when it is an issue with computers that you can't control. That has just gone bonkers. And I don't see her in the room. I've logged in, I've done everything. I've logged into a different room, and I don't see her. It's so bizarre that I cannot get Robyn on the cam. Okay. Robyn is calling me using Skype. Okay. Right. Let's see. This works. All right. I should have listened to her, um, because this is what she said to do, and I didn't. Man, I'm too stubborn for words. I'm slightly annoyed. Let's see if we could get her on Skype. And hey, Robyn. Can you hear me?
Just a moment. Okay. Do I have you?
Okay, great. Awesome. Let me just put you on the camera. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Stand by.
Okay, great. We're just gonna share the screen and put you on. And see, sometimes you gotta I gotta listen to you, man, because I should what I should have done was tested it with you last night, and
These are things learned by long and difficult experience.
yes, I should.
Pardon me. I'll be making profound use of a Kleenex this morning. I'm miserable.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did something happen?
Oh, it's allergies or a cold
Oh.
or something. I knocked off the show last night after only an hour because I could barely think.
Well, would you like to reschedule or?
Oh no. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay,
I got a little bit in me.
Okay, great. So I'm with let me introduce you properly. I am with the amazing, the talented, the wonderful hostess with the mostest, Robyn Kincaid of Head On Radio Network. And she's on the big screen with me. We had to sort through some technical difficulties, but that's what happens when you have a backup. And Robyn, I actually have the technology now where I can fix something while I'm still on the air. It's an amazing thing.
And that's a beautiful thing to be able to work on the fly like that.
Yeah.
I just well, I don't do a lot of video here, so I'm always cognizant of the fact that stuff may not work.
Yeah. Yeah. And StreamYard for the most part has been a beautiful thing, but this has been the first time where I've had to Skype someone in because StreamYard just wanted to be a hassle, unfortunately. But for those who want to leave a message, you can with us for Robyn or me in the comment section, and we'll play them as we go along and go from there. I'm just trying to see if I can enlarge your screen a little bit better. Let's see. Enter full screen. There we go. That's what I want to do. And there we go. All right. Awesome. So we have that full screen. All right. So I want to talk to you about a few things because you're running for Senate, right? State Senate or representative?
No. I'm running for the West Virginia's bicameral legislature is divided into a Senate and a House of Delegates.
Okay.
And I'm running for the House of Delegates seat in District 51.
Okay.
Which is basically Fayetteville and surrounding areas in my county. It's so close. I wish they would have called them areas instead of districts because I'd love to be running for the seat in Area 51.
No, good joke.
Thank you.
I had our friend on a little bit more left than us, Ron Placone, on yesterday, and he topped. One of the things I struggle with when I talk to him, and he said to me, name me some differences between the Democratic Party and the Republicans. I know people who are on the far left do this, and I strongly believe it's a cop out at this point because
it's an intellectual jack off. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I saw, bless his heart, whatever. I saw a post of his on Instagram the other day saying that Dr. Fauci is a corporatist. I mean, it looked like something that could easily have come from the right wing mask hole side of it. But the thing is, eventually, it's not like some Euclidean through line that runs forever in both directions. Just like Dr. King said, the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Well, sooner or later, political nutbaggery has an arc too, and it comes around and meets in the back where the right meets the left. And I have no patience for it.
Yeah, and I don't either. And what this show does, I don't know if hold on, break time. Take a break. I have cues because I've learned I need to be more organized, so I have cues. But we're not going to take a break. I'm speaking with Robyn Kincaid about the difference between the Democratic side and the Republican side. And could you straighten my argument a little bit for the Democrat? Because I can name some things off, like investigations. The Republicans do that. The Democratic.
Oh, I can do this really easily.
Could you do that?
Okay. There are no Democrats out there in the United States of America who are trying to kidnap little trans children away from their parents and charge their parents with felonies for loving them enough to get them gender affirming care. How's that for a difference? That's all Republicans, Thomas.
Yeah.
There aren't any Democrats out there who are trying to pass laws that make it a felony for a woman to leave the territorial confines of her state in order to attend to her reproductive care needs. That's just Republicans, Thomas. There aren't any Democrats doing that.
Yeah. And I get tired of the look. I don't consider you establishment by any means, but I get.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. I've been called a goddamn neoliberal establishment shill for years now.
But I don't.
And
think
I'm
you
okay
are.
with it because I'm not propelled. I'm not propelled by sparkle farts, and I'm not a member of the Purity Patrol either.
Yeah, and I look. I think we can find. What I'm trying to do is try and find some common ground so we could have a larger discussion, because my goal is, and I think your goal is the same, is to defeat the Republican Party. We could infight after we win, but I think the important part is, Robyn, and I think you'll agree with me, since you're running for a seat, the winning part and getting the power to be in state legislature is more important than the purity argument or anything else at this point. It's about actually being able to have a seat at the table. Or am I wrong?
Listen, you cannot exercise power until you have power. And for instance, in my state, West Virginia's legislature is controlled by a Republican supermajority that consists entirely of punks and bullies. Okay. And the only way to ever change anything in a poor state like this will be to wrest power back from the punks and bullies. And I don't have time for intellectual purity contests and intellectual or political ideological purity tests before I try to do something good for the people of my district, my county, and my state. The bottom line is Republicans are no good.
Yeah.
No damn good. Okay. They don't do any good. All they do, this legislative session that just closed here in West Virginia was nothing but a wall-to-wall assault on working people, on women, on children. They couldn't even pass a limited foster care bill. They couldn't even pass a bill. They are as useless as tits on a tree.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Robyn, and that's what gets me with the as you call them, the Purity Patrol and the left side of it, and leaving. Let's leave Ron out of it because he's not here to defend himself. But
that's fine. That's fine. But I mean,
but he was the example.
Certainly, it is not made up. It is not a problem consisting entirely of one person.
Yeah,
it is an entire sort of grunting and moaning movement of people who don't understand politics.
Yes, and that's what I hope to do with this show and with having you on FYINation.com.
I'm sure I've already been branded as some sort of again neoliberal establishment shill, when in fact I will put my progressive bona fides up against anybody and come out winning.
Yeah,
I'm probably further to the left than a bunch of these children who think that they're lefties, but that's okay.
No, exactly. And Jim in the YouTube says Repubs are assholes. Jim is one of our Terror Buster converts.
Okay. I thought that said antisocial.
No, assholes.
Well, that too.
Yes, and we do a little. We're PG-13 here, so you can let them fly if you like. I get frustrated when we on the left, on the Democratic side, let's just put it at the Democratic side. We on the Democratic side believe in nuance and understanding of facts and things that are relevant. And then we deal with the Republicans who have these fever dreams of QAnon conspiracies, like what we were talking about, that bled into Fox News and then gets mainstreamed. And how do we, you've been doing this for years, Robyn, but how do we properly combat that without just having people's eyes glaze over? Because I'm trying to do both.
Well, we get lost in details, Thomas.
Mhm.
And the Republicans are far better at messaging than we are, and they're better at bumper stickers.
Mhm.
We aren't. We do get into nuance, and that works to our detriment. We start talking about, well, I have here all the facts and figures. People don't care about the facts and figures. They want to hear you tell them that you're going to take the fight to the bad people and make their lives better.
But isn't that what you're doing, though? You're going to take the fight to the bad people, the corporatists, the people who don't want unions, the people who want big coal and big oil, and you are going to that. In my eyes, frankly, Robyn, that's what you're doing, running for the seat you're running for, and I think in a way you said it. You're going to take the fight to the bad people, and we just need to list it off who those monsters are better. I think that's what I. Am I wrong, or did I?
No, you're not. You're not wrong, but you may be overthinking it. I mean, I guess some Republicans are worse than other Republicans, but they all add up to a cumulative whole that is nothing short of damaging and dangerous. I mean, sure. The horror from Georgia, marginal trailer queen or whatever her name is.
Yes.
She's a nightmare. And she's dumber than a bag full of hammer handles in a box of rocks. But that just because she doesn't know which fork to use with the oysters doesn't mean that some Republican who does is any better. They all do horrible things. That's one of the problems that I have with the fawning praise for Liz Cheney. Okay, she did something that was simple. She did the bare minimum in standing up and saying that Trump is a criminal, and that January 6, 2021 was a repugnant assault on constitutional governance. That should have been easy. That wasn't a big flex, but you would think that she was the veritable queen of the May for having said it. Meanwhile, it must be recalled that her voting record with Nitwit Nero was north of 95%. Yep. Every time he said froggy, she hopped.
Yep.
Okay.
And not only that,
but Adam, and she's got a better political pedigree than, say, Clanny Oakley from Colorado. They both vote the same way.
Yeah.
You have to it's a bad word these days, but they have to be marginalized.
Yeah.
Or else they will kill our country.
Cancel. Dare I say cancel?
Yeah. But Republicans never get canceled.
No, they never do. Let's dive in. Would you mind diving into a story with me?
Sure, go ahead.
Since I have you here, let me grab the story that I wanted to. I
got to be honest. I don't know how long I'm good for because I just really, really feel yucky. But let's go as far as we can.
Okay. I will be quick with this one then. Because this one is there's a don't say gay bill in Florida that you're well aware of.
Yeah.
And
the guy who sponsored his house got a tornado dropped on it a couple of nights ago.
Love that karma. But the MSN is MSNBC, MSN News is reporting that Walt Disney, the Disney company, is going to have a series of walkouts by the workers are actually organizing to protest the Disney company's The
Pusillanimous
bill
response?
and support of the bill. And my question to you is, do you think the media is going to cover it, other than this article?
Oh, they'll cover they'll cover it nominally right now because the multimillionaire for-profit media has a terrible case of myopia. They can it's like they can't walk and chew gum. Everything is going to be subsumed beneath the wave of war porn that afflicts us now. And I'm sorry if that upsets people for me to call it that. It is a horror. It's a timeout.
Mm-hmm. And we're with the amazing Robyn Kincaid, who
yes,
has
and her spring allergies. No, what I was going to say, the war is horrible, and frankly, it's infuriating that we aren't doing more. And I'm not one to beat the drums of war, but the other thing that it does is it completely devastates coverage of other issues.
Yes. And hold on, we're not. That's my break. Cue. Sorry. No, you're absolutely right, Robyn. It devastates other issues, and that's why, like on this show, we're very minimally covering Ukraine, and we're expediting other issues like the walkout, because I think people need to know about this. You shouldn't just find
Well,
it
at some
TikTok.
point, a story.
And Robyn just froze up because technology is wonderful. Let's see if I can get Robyn back. Hold on. Let me try and get Robyn back. And let her finish her point. I love technology. It works. I want to give her chance to be able to say what she was saying. And go from there, and then we'll let her go. We'll have her back on when she's feeling better. Let's see. See if we can get her on. If not, technology may have failed us. Which sucks. Let's try. I'm gonna message her. Let's try another day. Just let me get out of this screen. Just bear with me. I'm gonna have Robyn come back another time, and we're gonna talk to her more. Let's try another day. Tech fail. Don't worry. Feel better. And I love technology. She was in mid thought and got thunked. Let's. So it's 11 o'clock Eastern. I feel bad that we weren't able to have more of Robyn, but what we were the little bit of time we did have with her was important, and because we need more voices like that, and I'm sure I will be. Hold on one second. All right. Sorry. I'm gonna need to take a quick break to sort something out. And I'll be right back. My apologies. A little bit of a tech issue that I have to resolve on my personal side of things. Be right back.
Insight Daily Radio.
From food to fashion, science to tech talk, or for just plain fun, we've got you covered. From the art of all things, here's Lasana Jeffries.
Tom Anderson, better known online as MySpace Tom, was, for a brief period in the early 2000s, arguably the most popular man on the internet, boasting over 200 million friends at the apex of MySpace's popularity. Tom was everybody who signed up to use the site's first, but hopefully not only friend. So what is he doing now? For those who missed out on that era, despite Facebook being founded in 2004, from about 2005 to 2008, MySpace was indeed on top, including for a brief time in 2006, even becoming the most visited site on the internet, edging out Google for that honor. And amazingly, in 2008, MySpace generated nearly $1 billion in revenue, valued at some $12 billion at that point. Although users were free to immediately unfriend Tom if they felt like it, most didn't, making him, for a brief window in the 2000s, one of the most recognized people online. It isn't clear how much Tom made from selling his stake in MySpace, with conflicting amounts everywhere from a few million to a few hundred million. Whatever the case, his salary after the News Corp acquisition, a $30 million 2-year contract after Tom walked away from the site, he hasn't had to worry about money. Following his quasi-retirement, Tom spent a lot of time learning about architectural design. When he left the work world, he started designing his dream house. The plan was to build one house, move in, and build the next, and so on and so forth. In total, he designed and built 3 homes. But now Tom spends most of his time doing travel photography, taking incredible photos for Instagram. Thanks for listening. I'm Lisana.
I hate technology sometimes, yet I love it. So back to the walkout. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. Um, I I would like to think that the media would cover this because it is a walkout that is um it is a walkout that is basically against a social issue. So you would think that the media would cover this. The organizers, who asked not to be identified for fear of reprisals, have scheduled a series of 15-minute walkouts during employee breaks starting on Monday to culminate in a larger protest planned on March 22. So they're like they're being thoughtful about the walkout, right? They're like, we're gonna take these walkouts and we're gonna do the walkout, but we're gonna only take like 15-minute breaks. We're not gonna walk out like and disrupt Disney's operations. I- uh, 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 the walkout is appeasing. The walkout is appeasing the company. These organizers are amazing. They are absolutely fundamentally amazing. They're like, well, we're going to walk out. We're going to do it this way. And we're going to be like, we're not going to harm the company. We're not going to, we're going to do it during our break time. I love this. If only management actually worked this way for employees. The walkout plans provoked discussions by Disney employees in the company's internal Slack instant messaging channels on Monday. The protest does not appear to have been directly organized by any of the LGBTQ employees. This is a cover. This should be covered mainstream wise, other than an MSN article. Because protests matter. Protesting matters. When you take a stand against a corporation, it should be heard. And it shouldn't be ignored because the corporation is, oh, I don't know, the Disney Channel, the motherlode of corporations. It should be heard because it's important. Robyn is apologizing to me, and it's okay. I feel so bad. Robyn is apologizing to me. Usually it's the other way around. But Robyn is apologizing for her appearance not working out, and she doesn't have anything to apologize for. So let's move to Russia. And this amazing journalist, and I hope I pronounce her name properly. I hope that she stays safe in Russia. I hope that we can have a way to keep her safe because it's important. But this is an awesome story here that we have going on, folks. This is an amazingly wonderful story. This is risking your life. Like, would you be so bold to risk your job, risk your life, and do something for your country? Would you do that right now? Like, if you were given the opportunity, or would you make the opportunity happen? Like me, what do? I'm a talk radio host. I'm not challenging authority directly. I'm indirectly challenging authority on FYNation.com. So, great and good. But there's no direct challenge of authority. This person, this Russian TV employee who protested Ukraine war fined $270. But don't think that's all that she's going to get. Please don't think that that's all she's going to get. It's just a $270 fine. She's probably going to lose her job. I would guess she's going to lose her job. I would guess the journalist and by the way, when the ruble is worth nothing, $270 is a lot of money. She could still face charges under the fake news law in the Russian parliament passed after the invasion of the Ukraine and get 15 years in prison. She knew this going in, right? There's a fake news law. And what she did was wave a sign up and basically say in the back of a presenter that the Russian people are giving propaganda, and now she might get 15 years in prison. So to act like she's only going to get 10 days for Manera over Nikova, who is the editor who did this on Channel 1. Marina has some balls. Jim points out she'll probably be in jail in a while. She's already gotten a few days, like 10 days in jail. And This is important stuff. Marina Ovechnikova is someone who is a victim of government oppression if she gets 15 years in prison, not the January 6th traitor who stormed the Capitol to try and overthrow the government. They are not a victim. See the difference? See how easy it is to point it out? To destroy the narrative? To not be a cop-out? It's simple. 15 years to 2 weeks? And Russian prisons aren't exactly a walk in the park and through sunshine. The Channel 1 editor on Monday ran behind the news anchor during a live broadcast and held up a sign that read, "Stop the war, don't believe propaganda, they're lying to you here." Yeah, she lost her job. So I don't know how she's going to pay the $270 fine. Channel 1 quickly cut off Ovechynikova's protest and was detained by authorities. Ovechynnikova also recorded a video before her broadcast during which she apologized for working with Channel 1 and doing Kremlin propaganda. So she's probably okay with losing her job. She's okay with that consequence. This is a hero. This is a victim of government oppression. This is what we need to look up for and look up to. We do not need January 6th traitors to be looked up as patriots. They are losers. They are scum. They are deceitful. She said the Russian people are being zombified by state TV. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? The difference between the Democratic side and the Republican side is we don't need zombies on the Democratic side. And I could do this all day long, and I don't have to bring up Ron Placone either, although he started the debate. And that's all I need to do is to point that out. Of what the difference is between the Democratic side and the Republican side. We don't need zombies. And to crystal clear point that out, during the Hillary Clinton run where the establishment was trying to get us to all line up in order and everything else, they tried really hard, but they couldn't do it because that's not in their skill set. Because it doesn't work on the Democratic side. Except to a small minority. Not for nothing. Remember, they were doing all the anti-Bernie stuff and everything else. That's why the narrative is weak-kneed narrative. Don't be weak. Don't fall for it. There is a difference, even between the establishment Democratic side and the Republican side. So there's that. Russia has enforced the strict laws that prohibits news services from even calling conflicts in Ukraine a war. Instead, publications and channels must refer to it as a special operation. Yikes. So I'm not I'm not going to be dismissive here of how bad Russia is. I'm also not going to dismiss that the United States can be equally shit. Because, see, I like nuance and I like having the ability to make decisions for myself. And I like the ability to critically think things through. See, Marina critically thought through what she was going to do. Jim points out Dems try to elevate the better sides of our nature. I thought of a bad Bill Clinton joke with that statement, though, Jim, because I still had that Republican taint. Elevate nature. Oh, sorry, had to. No, I didn't, but I did anyway. So there's that Russia story. And then the other Russia story that is not war porn, as Robyn Kincaid said. See, you could cover Russia without covering the war porn. And I think we do that quite well here. We cover the important parts of what is necessary and leave the rest to the corporate media. And I think that's all right. I think that's all right. So, here is the other Russian story. It's in the Twitter right now that I just put it in. The Twitter. From The Hill again. I love The Hill, although they are more corporate leaning. I still think they provide a good source of news and information for you to go and find, and it's usually concise and clear, and I like that with my news. So the headline for the Russia story is Russia exits leading human rights organization after suspension. Well, I'm mad at you. I'm taking my toys away. It's basically what that says. The Russian Foreign Ministry gave the Council of Europe's Secretary General Marija Pechinovic-Burek a formal letter notifying the group of Moscow's withdrawal. The ministry alleged that the organization was targeting Russia and said that the Russian constitution would protect individuals' human rights and freedoms in the company, per the AP. Yes, the Russian government, the Russian Federation will protect human rights. Off to the Gulag with you. This comes after the Council of Europe on February 25th suspended Russia over the country's assault on Ukraine. Russia was not fully kicked out of the group at the time. However, it was still under obligation to follow its human rights conventions. So what do you do? What do you do if you don't want to follow the human rights conventions? You get out of the human rights organization. Makes sense. How are those Putin defenders gonna take this? Well, Putin was being attacked, man. He's the victim here of the European folks. He's the victim. The European human rights folks shouldn't be attacking Russia this way. Russia is under attack, don't you know? Russia needs to defend its people, don't you know? Democratic people don't defend people who take themselves out of a human rights organization? Because literally because they don't want to follow the country's the country's conventions that it signed. Russia agreed to follow the conventions, and this country, Russia, now is like, no, I don't agree with this. We're gonna do it our own way. We're gonna give all our Russian citizens a pass. Give me a break. You got to be fucking kidding me. This is crazy. This is absolute crazy. This is ridiculous. That this is where we're at. This part is not war porn. This is a continuation of the Russian narrative to say, well, we don't need you. We don't need you, so we're going to do it our own way, and we're going to make sure you F off. What? Unbelievable. Unflippin' believable. I wish I could say that it's going to get better, but I don't want to lie to you. And Russia is just fucking itself. And there's no way back for Russia. And it's disturbing that that's where we're here. That's where we're at. And this is where we've landed. It should upset everyone. It upsets me. We're not into the war porn. We're into pointing out that Russia doesn't believe in human rights, though. We're into pointing out that the right wing is batshit crazy. We're into destroying narratives. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Speaking of Trump cult, Trump cult person of interest, numero uno. This is from The Blaze, as we do. Jeannie Thomas is Clarence Thomas's wife, and they stick together, they win, I guess. Jeannie Thomas is despicable. She's deceitful. She's wrong. Clarence Thomas should recuse himself because of his activism, but he won't. Because this is what happens when you have all the power. It doesn't happen. Jeannie Thomas fires back at critics calling on Justice Clarence Thomas to recuse himself over her activism. Carlos Garcia, Blaze reporter, writes. Jeannie Thomas fired back at critics claiming her presence at the January 6th protests before the rioting meant her husband, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, needed to recuse himself from any cases involving the legal system. That's our break music. No break for us. We're just going to roll with the hour. You're listening to the Nosey Liberal, FYNation.com. We're live. Had a little bit of unfortunate happenstances. But Jeannie Thomas is totally Jim's right. And it's not going to happen, but America needs to fully delegitimize Trump. And Russia needs to delegitimize Putin. She said, like so many married couples, we share many of the same ideas, principles, and aspirations in America, but we have our own separate careers and our own ideas and opinions too. Clarence doesn't discuss his work with me, and I don't involve him in my work. And Jeannie Thomas left the protest early because it was cold, by the way. I was disappointed and frustrated that there were violence that happened following the peaceful gathering of the Trump supporters at the Ellipse on January 6th. There are important and legitimate substantive questions about achieving goals like electoral integrity, racial equality, and political accountability that a democratic system like ours need to be able to discuss and debate and rationally in the political square. I fear we are losing that ability. Let's talk about that. Jeannie? Why is that? Why are we losing the ability to talk about things rationally? Could it be because your party is completely and just irrational? I mean, your party believes QAnon conspiracy theories that you can look up in about 30 seconds to find out that they're not true. Your party believes that there's this vast electoral conspiracy against the Republicans when it's not true. Your party believes that political accountability is a witch hunt of Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden if they gain power. And it's not true. Your party, the Republican Party and conservatives, believe that attacking strong Supreme Court nominees by Joe Biden because she's black and a woman is an okay thing. Because he chose her for that lack of power in the Supreme Court. Lack of diversity in the Supreme Court. Power is the wrong word. Diversity is the right word. Think before you speak, Tom. It's helpful when you're a talk show host. There are legitimate and substantive issues at hand, Jeannie Thomas. You just are one who should be discussing them at a rally outside the Capitol during, I don't know, the vote for electoral college submissions, maybe? Time and place. Jeannie? Time and place. You went back because it was cold. Translation, you knew what was coming. And you didn't want to be caught up in it. Some political heavyweight. I mean, for Pete's sake. She left because it was cold. But she would have stayed? Really? And her and her husband never... Well, this I actually believe because Clarence Thomas never actually speaks. So I actually believe that Clarence Thomas never discusses the Supreme Court decisions he makes with his wife, because Clarence Thomas never actually rubs two words together. So that I believe. I just, man, oh man. Give me a break. Jeannie Thomas fires back at critics. And the conservative Klansmen all come to her rescue like clockwork to help pitch a fit against Republicans. Only right-wing extremists would marry and stay with a right-wing extremist. Absolutely, Jim. Because, in the story that we did about the January 6th protester yesterday, the story we did about her husband left her after the protest. She got fired from her job, and she was the victim, remember. Jeannie Thomas didn't continue on with the protest because it was cold. Really? What a lightweight. What an absolute lightweight. Oh, yeah. I don't understand. I just don't understand how people can act this way. I'm going to take a quick break. Got a personal message I have to deal with. It'll be a quick break, I promise. And our last and final story before we end the show. Sorry for so many breaks, folks.
I'm Rick Smith, and this is Labor History in 2. On this day in labor history, the year was 1911. That was the day Big Bill Haywood of the Industrial Workers of the World gave his speech on the general strike. He presented it in New York City at a fundraiser for the Bucafori Defense Fund. Vincent Bucafori was a shop representative for his union. He faced repeated harassment and discharge by his foreman for executing his union duties. Finally, as witnesses described, the foreman fired Bucafori and punched him, drawing blood. Then he came at Bucafori with a heavy object. Bucafori shot and killed him in self-defense. He was charged with manslaughter, convicted, and sentenced to 10 years at Sing Sing prison. The IWW raised money for his defense and fought for his acquittal and release. Haywood arrived at the fundraiser to deliver the keynote speech titled The General Strike. In it, he reviewed the rich history of workers' actions since the days of the Paris Commune in 1871. He also raged against electoral reform. He stated, quote, "The broadest interpretation of political power comes through the industrial organization. It gives the vote to women. It re-enfranchises the black man and places the ballot in the hands of every boy and girl employed in a shop. Makes them eligible to take part in the general strike, makes them eligible to legislate for themselves where they are most interested in changing conditions, namely in the place where they work." He continued, quote, "You have all the industries in your hands at the present time. There is justification for political action, and that is to control the forces of the capitalists that they use against us. That is the reason that you should fully understand the power of the ballot." Labor History in 2 brought to you by the Illinois Labor History Society and The Rick Smith Show. For more information, go to laborhistoryin2.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us at Labor History in 2.
I don't know why people ask me questions when I tell them the answers way beforehand. So I had to deal with something personal. Sorry about that. But it's the way the cookie crumbles. So Jeannie Thomas is just another right-winger crazy person that thinks she knows what she's doing. And she has no clue. No clue whatsoever. I just don't understand people, man. I don't understand how people are willing to be this way. So, this final story is a little bit of a laugh. Because we need a laugh. Joe Manchin, America's favorite Republican. Oh, wait, he's a Democrat? Oh. See, I think the far left get confused when they see somebody like Joe Manchin being a Republican, basically, and the Democratic Party still allowing him in the party. Like, I get, like, the misunderstanding of why Joe Manchin is still someone who has any kind of power in the Democratic Party or say or responsibility. Can we that's what I wanted to talk to Robyn about, but we didn't get a chance to. Can we get rid of Joe Manchin, please? Please, oh please, for the love of Pete. Can we get rid of Joe Manchin? So the funny here is that this is exactly like predictable. The Guardian, Manchin very reluctant on electric cars, an ominous sign for Biden's climate fight. Blue no matter who, baby. Look at that face. Look at that sad face for those on the YouTube. He's so sad. He's so reluctant. Joe Manchin, who has said to be very reluctant to see the proliferation of battery-powered cars, even though there's a surge of interest right now because, oh my God, being beholden to fossil fuels puts us in a crisis, and we're tired of it finally. And Joe Biden has championed the growth of the EV market as a way to tackle the climate crisis. Oh yeah, Republicans don't believe in climate change. Another difference. As a major source of planet heating and emissions. I'm very reluctant to go down the path of electric vehicles. I'm old enough to remember standing in line in 1974 to try and buy gas. I remember those days. I don't want to have to be standing in line waiting for battery for my vehicle because we're now dependent on foreign supply chain, mostly China. Okay, how do you get to China for a battery? What, because the lithium is made in China? You could go to other places. And not for nothing. Solar power, wind power, hydraulic power, and if you really want to, nuclear power to power the battery stations for vehicles. This is just an excuse. This is a way to get out of doing the right thing. This is a way to continue to be beholden to the fossil fuel company. Just like the last smoker. He's like the last person who's a smoker and still thinks that cigarettes don't cause cancer. He should be like a dinosaur and go away. He should not be in existence as far as political sphere building is concerned. Who are his constituents? The oil and gas companies? Manchin, who has taken money from political donations from fossil fuel interests than any other senator, more donations, has said that he has a hard time understanding why the federal government would invest in a network of electric charging stations, as the Biden administration aims to do. Why would you do that when you already have gas? Maybe to get people off fossil fuels. You invest in the charge. And by the way, you could put the charging stations in place of where all the gas stations are now. And keep the industry from falling apart. You could be innovative like that. He doesn't want to be innovative. He wants to have an excuse and go after a positive and a negative light. The climate action that the White House wants to pass is going to get cock-blocked, potentially, by Joe Manchin. Explain to me again how blue no matter who works. Please. The past month has seen a strong increase in the number of people searching online for hybrid and battery and electric vehicles, and the car shopping industry analysis website Edmunds reports. This is good news that this is happening, not bad. Joe Manchin sees it as a negative. Joe Manchin won't work with the president and leader of his party to make this a possibility. Joe Manchin shouldn't be a Democrat. It's like, really? This is the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Here we have policy, and we're having a discussion on why it matters. The policy, not the actual theory or talking point around it, but why the policy matters. Anecdotally, we are hearing a lot about a greater interest in EVs because of what is going on in Ukraine, but the real test is whether or not it will last, Ed Kim, president of Auto Pacific, said. It will last. The next crisis is only down the corner. The next price of fuel is only down the corner. Electric gas prices will not be a thing because there's no electric gas. It's electric power. So electric power prices will remain stable and ensure a robust economy. And oh my God, the Republicans will lose a talking point if we have electric vehicles instead of gas-powered vehicles. The Republicans will lose a talking point to blame the president on rising gas prices when the president has nothing to do with rising gas prices. But they will lose that talking point, and they can't have that. Joe Manchin can't have that. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's downright scary that this is where we're at. Hashtag FYI Live if you want to tweet me, leave a comment in the comment section. I will spread the word. I don't know why Joe Manchin is in the Democratic side. Maybe to confuse liberals on the far left that the Democrats and the Republicans are exactly the same. Maybe that's why. Or to make their point stand up. Right? You need that one Joe Manchin in the Democratic Party to make a confused purity liberal say, see, I told you so. The Republicans and the Democratic side are exactly the same. Look at Joe Manchin and you keep him in his party. People like Joe Manchin should not be in the Democratic Party. Or if they are in the Democratic Party, they should not have a very loud, powerful position. Really simple. Hashtag cancel Republicans. I mean, if the shoe fits, Joe Manchin is wearing it. Joe Manchin is a typical Republican. And people need to tell the truth about that. And I guess that confuses progressives who want to make an excuse and say the Republicans and the Democratic side are exactly the same. It's not true. Just because you, and not for nothing, just because you share some same traits with Republicans does not make you the same as Republicans. It just doesn't. Am I here to defend the establishment? Absolutely not. In fact, Joe Biden, why aren't you kicking Joe Manchin out of your party? He's a disruptive hack. Where is the power of the president? Where is blue no matter who? And the Democratic, let's be honest, the Democratic establishment, like people like Joe Manchin, so they can have an easy blame of progressives when things don't come up. When they want to take the easy way out of policy. When they don't want that policy really passed, they can say, well, it's progressive's fault. When in fact, it's Joe Manchin's fault. He is their escape hatch on legislation. That's how if you critically look at it with any type of thought process that is more than trying to write your own narrative, you understand that Joe Manchin is really there to cock block progressives. That's why Joe Manchin is there. I answered my own question, by the way. See, that's what you do when you critically think and not just give Republican talking points a pass. That's what happens. You actually get a point made and something happens where, oh my God, this makes sense. And this is right. Woke Talk Radio will be on today at 3 o'clock. We'll be live. I'll be here. We're going to do another show. We'll cover the news of the day. You won't find any war porn or tragedy porn. We'll have a show. Next week, I have to deal with something personal. I think I have an appointment during Woke Talk Radio, so I will figure something out for Woke Talk Radio in its place, because I'm trying to keep everything consistent here, and it is admittedly slightly overwhelming to keep everything consistent. But that's what you got to do when you're trying to build a network, from having a small little place on the internet to having something a little bit bigger. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to have something a little bit bigger. And hopefully we'll be able to do that with your help. We need to grow to 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed yet to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's really necessary. It's more necessary than a donation right now. The YouTube subscription helps us get the word out about the network and helps us be found in the algorithm. I don't want to just do Trump videos to be found in the algorithm. I don't want to torture people with that crap. So if you want to help us be found in the algorithm, subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe. Because if they can't watch the show live, they could always check it out later. So I want to thank everybody for watching and participating, like Jim. And slowly but surely we'll get rid of the technical difficulties and the interruptions and everything else. Rush Limbaugh never had to deal with this shit. But that's what happens when you're small. We get no respect. That's okay. By the way, if you want to send hate mail, tom@fynation.com. I'll read it on the air. Hate mail is tom@fynation.com. Or an easier way to send me a message, #FYILive. I'd like to see more #FYILive stuff than just my own posts. So if you want to help me get that going, that would be great. And use it for other shows that you listen to, too, by the way. Use it for Tom Hartman, and use it for everything on the network. That's another way to get the word out about what we're doing. It's really easy to get the word out about the network. So, in closing, there are a lot of differences between even the Democratic establishment and the Republicans. The President of the United States is showing you the differences. If you don't want to see them to continue your narrative, that's on you. That's not on me. If you want to make it so Donald Trump is President of the United States again, that's on you, not on me. I think we're in a better spot because Donald Trump is not President of the United States. I think we're in a better spot because we have things like free speech, and we are a country that believes in peace and freedom. We don't always show it properly, and our ratings for journalists sucks. But that all can be fixed, and we can move forward. So if you want to move forward, subscribe to the network FY Nation page. You can do it real simple. Just go on FYNation.com and subscribe to the video that is on the FY Nation page. Download the app for the FY Nation page. Again, real simple things that you could do to get things going. So we'll be back tomorrow The show went by quick. Had a few bumps in the road, but overall pretty good. Tomorrow, Jeff Waldorf from around the nation will be with us. We'll discuss some news stories. We'll talk with him. It'll be a fun show. I will enjoy doing that show with him. And by tomorrow, I will have all the video edits of all the interviews together.